You're listening to the AstroMommy Daily Horoscope, a forecast that hopes to shine a light in the dark, helping us all see where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. Whether you're a first-time listener or a long-time subscriber, thanks for being here. I truly appreciate you being in the AstroMommy community. Without further ado, here is the Daily Horoscope. Extreme energy. Mercury Cazimi square Pluto. Moon trine the Benefics. Keep the faith. Daily horoscope for Friday, October 20th, 2023. Good afternoon, friends. Okay, let's get into the astrology. All times are in Eastern time unless mentioned otherwise. On Friday, the moon will be in Capricorn all day. The Capricorn moon may inspire us to want to tend to things around the house or our places of business that need doing. I have a mountain of laundry to do, and since Capricorn is all about scaling mountains, this is on my to-do list. Unfortunately, I am feeling less than motivated to do anything and would rather watch YouTube videos and eat cookies. Not my best choices. Nope, instead, I'm going to power through another Capricorn trait, my laundry pile, and work out. I already had a moringa latte as my second beverage of the day. I am doing well, resisting the urges of the South Node in Libra to just do pleasurable things that have in the past made me feel better, but don't actually do much good for my future. Cookies and YouTube feel great at the moment, and then suck later when you go to make dinner and all the dishes are dirty. The Sun and Mercury's conjunction to the South Node, which was exact yesterday, is still lingering, and this can mean we feel drained, uninspired, or the need to get shit off our chests and release old baggage. I am definitely feeling uninspired in terms of my to-do list, of which writing the daily horoscope is on, and I'm not surprised. It's just a strong pull downward, and I literally feel like lying down. So if you are still feeling these energies, then join the club. You are not alone. Mercury and the Sun also conjoined for their Cazimi moment when they are at the same zodiacal degree at the same time, really early this morning at 1:37 a.m., both at 26 degrees Libra, 34 minutes, which would have been about 10:37 p.m. Pacific Standard Time last night. I should have probably written the horoscope late last night and taken advantage of the energy, but I didn't. I slept instead. The Cazimi moment is said to be when a planet is at the heart of the sun or is on the lap of the king, and means that the faster planet has a boost in power, agency, and symbolic meaning. All things Mercurial get a boost, so that is writing, communicating, thinking, problem solving, philosophizing, doing things with our hands, working with tiny moving parts, etc. Mercury was also said to be the planet that ruled magic in traditional astrology because he was the one that moves easily between our world and the underworld due to his closeness to the sun and the fact that Mercury pops up frequently as a morning star on the eastern horizon and then disappears and then pops up again as an evening star on the western horizon. But this Cazimi, for me at least, has felt anything but boosting. I think that is due to the closeness of Mercury to the South Node, and also because once the Cazimi moment is over, Mercury goes back to being combust the Sun, which is a decrease in the planet's agency. You, however, may have enjoyed an increase in all things Mercurial and experienced this transit differently than me. Also, it's interesting to note that Mercury is on the other side of the Sun to Earth, and we cannot see him. At the time that I am writing this, it is exactly 12:04 p.m. The Cazimi has just started to separate as Mercury is at 27 degrees Libra, 18 minutes, and the Sun is at 27 degrees Libra, 0 minutes. The Cazimi moment is 17 minutes of arc before and after exactitude. Both the Sun and Mercury are now in partile squares to Pluto, which we will get into later on in today's horoscope, but this is just an interesting detail to pay attention to. Later on at 7:54 a.m., the moon in Capricorn formed a sextile to Mars in Scorpio. The sextile is a harmonious aspect of the nature of Venus and represents possibilities for the energies to work together. The moon and Mars coming together in harmony, especially since Mars is in his traditional home sign of Scorpio, and the moon is in the exaltation of Mars. This is a very Martian transit and indicates the possibilities for the planning and strategizing of Mars-like activities. So that could be things that require aggression, assertiveness, power, control, and stamina. In the afternoon on Friday, the moon makes a grand Earth trine between Venus and Jupiter. First, the moon in Capricorn forms a trine to Venus in Virgo at 4:59 p.m., and then at 7:29 p.m., she forms a trine to Jupiter in Taurus retrograde. Venus and Jupiter are only about 1.5 degrees away from perfecting their trine to each other, and so the moon is transferring the light from Venus to Jupiter. This is an interesting transit, and in general means harmonious happenings that are joyful and create more happiness and prosperity in our lives. But looking at the receptions between these three planets, it seems like an illusion of happiness, and here's why. Venus is in Virgo, which is her fall, yes, but Virgo is also Jupiter's detriment. What this means is that Venus does not really feel all that great about Jupiter right now. The moon is in Capricorn, which is her detriment, yes, but she is in the fall of Jupiter, which means she really doesn't trust Jupiter's generosity at all right now. Jupiter is in favor of both Venus and the moon because he is in the home of Venus and in the exaltation of the moon. So this is interesting and feels like Jupiter is saying he is going to deliver some abundance, aid, help, or prosperity, but Venus and the moon don't believe him. They think he's a fake, like a fake Santa. I feel like this transit is a test of faith. Do we have faith in our Jupiterian ideals? Do we believe in the bigger picture? Do we feel like the philosophies we are ascribing to right now are true, just, and actually connected to the divine? We are questioning our beliefs, and that is what I think this transit is representing. Make no mistake, Jupiter wants to bring gifts, joy, and good fortune, but does he have the power right now? At the degree in Taurus that he is currently at, 12 degrees, he has no dignity, which means he has very little agency to fulfill his natural significations. The meaning of this is to have faith. We must continue to have faith that all will work out. At 8:50 p.m., Mercury in Libra perfects his square to Pluto in Capricorn in direct motion at 27 degrees 54 minutes of their respective signs, and this means the announcement of criminal activity, intrusive information, hurtful gossip, and harsh words that may cut deeply or bring emotional stuff to the surface. These are the types of messages or words that can make or break you, as the saying goes, and you will either be stronger or weaker from them. There could be talk of death, transformation, and irrevocable changes in people's lives. It could also maybe, possibly, conceivably be a great time to write your word poem. You may be able to dig really deeply into yourself and extract very valuable gems of expression. During Mercury's square to Pluto, the Sun is only 32 minutes of arc away from perfecting his square to Pluto as well, which will be exact at 10:09 a.m. on Saturday. So we will talk in more depth about this transit in the weekend's forecast, but I will say a few words here now about it so you know what to expect. The Sun and Pluto in a square is always a very extreme transit of the year, which happens twice a year and marks turning points in the annual cycle between these two planets. The Sun is the life force, our vitality, and represents solar figures in our lives, leaders, fathers, heads of households, and in mundane astrology, represents the leader of the country. Pluto is the planet of death, rebirth, and transformation, and indicates irrevocable change and forced initiation. The square aspect is a 90-degree angle formed between the two planets, and in traditional astrology is the nature of Mars, so it creates conflict, struggle, strife, and war, and also indicates death, destruction, and violence. When the Sun squares Pluto, it is a time when all of these influences are increased and extremes can be experienced in our lives, from karma surrounding fathers, leaders, or solar figures to near-death experiences or profound violence in the world at large. It is usually extreme and powerful. It can be a life-changing event or a very emotional ride. This will indeed be a very emotional Sun square Pluto because the Moon will conjoin Pluto during the square tomorrow, Saturday at 10:32 p.m., indicating this transit will be felt on a very personal level. This could also mean that something very irrevocable happens to a solar figure or our president that is a forced change. This weekend is a very intense one that I believe will be a turning point in our history, personally, and possibly for the USA. Let's move on to the card for the day. What is the guidance for today? Maya, the field of the Lord. On this card, we see the sun setting behind rolling hills. A moon hangs in the sky. On the field in front is a baby stroller and a wheelchair. Quote, the world is illusion, or Maya, in that it is always changing, for example, from infancy to old age, as shown on the card. Both the field and the Lord are objects of illusion. Maya is like a dream. There is always a possibility of awakening. Meanwhile, the monkey speaks. Quote, this is the astral computer center. We describe in symbols the nature of events as they are perceived. The symbols are then cross-checked with various archetypal systems, such as astrology. The resulting correspondences indicate certain points at which the past and the present coincide and simultaneously manifest forms for creation. There is no possibility of error because we create arbitrarily. Thus, we are free to make any connections, unquote. This card might mean things are not what they appear to be, unquote. What I would like to know is, what is the illusion? What is being hidden from us that we are not being allowed to see? With Mercury and the Sun square to Pluto, there is bound to be the illumination of some dark truth. And with the Moon in Trine to the Benefics, Venus and Jupiter, this feels like a painkiller moment, like we are being given a painkiller to ease the intensity right now about the truth. I would also like to note that on this card, the Sun is setting and the Moon is either a crescent or a waxing gibbous moon, neither of which is possible with the proximity to the Sun during sunset. When the moon is this close to the sun and setting after the sun, the horns of the moon point to the east. And in this picture, the horns are pointing to the west, which indicates a waning moon, but the waning crescent would be on the other side, because the moon reflects the light of the sun. So this picture shows an impossibility. If you watch the moon emerge after a new moon when she is dark, you will see her pop up over the western horizon after sunset and grow in light on her right side, because the sun is shining from that direction, and her horns will point toward the east until she reaches her first quarter phase. When she is full, the sun is exactly opposite her and she has no horns. But as she begins to lose light, now the left side of her will be illuminated because she is getting closer and closer to the sun, which is to the east of her, and after she passes her third quarter phase, her horns will be clearly visible again and point towards the west as she wanes. She will never be so close to being a full moon during sunset. It's impossible. So this picture is a deception. What are your thoughts about these transits and this card? I would love to know. Please leave a comment. I hope this is helpful. Until tomorrow, AstroMommy. Thank you for reading or listening to the Daily Horoscope. Quick links and resources can be found at the bottom of the newsletter. Today's card was pulled from Morgan's Tarot, available on Amazon. If you seek knowledge and enlightenment, the AstroMommy Newsletter may be right for you. Side effects of reading or listening to the AstroMommy Newsletter are common and include joy, jubilation, delight, happiness, gratitude, love, triumph, feeling in tune with the universe, experiencing deep insights, reflections, and contemplations, a lightened soul, a lighter step, feeling awake when others are asleep, illuminated, enlightened, having spiritual experiences, noticing repeating numbers, animals in nature, or songs on the radio that speak to you, getting vibes, clairvoyance, clairaudience, and clairsmellience, feeling like you know secret language, biophilia, crying tears of joy, emotional literacy, feeling lively, stable, exalted, having an auric glow, or feeling like you woke up on the right side of the bed have all been reported. If you purchase anything through the affiliate links that I provide in the newsletters, I will make a very small commission. Thanks for listening.